Hey everyone, my name is Teevee the Marketer. Many of you already know me, and for those of you that don't, because I'm going to be running ads to this Facebook Live, my name is Teevee the Marketer. I help small businesses get found online, get chosen, and be trusted by using digital advertising strategies, lead generation strategies, and just creative ways to ensure that we're getting in front of the right people and making sure that we're getting their trust, that they can trust us because of the content that we're sharing and the stuff that we put out into the world. All right. So today's video, I'm going to just, hey Tenacious, welcome back. So today I wanted to share a conversation that I had with a friend of mine. I actually met him in Toastmasters years ago. He's an incredible speaker, an improviser. We got to know each other well during that time. He reached out to me recently and he wanted to talk about marketing. And how I may be able to help him. He's in finance, so it's a little complicated. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of rules you have to follow because it involves people's money, people's assets, so they have to make sure that they're always compliant. So that was in our conversation, that was one of the quick things that I know, so I had to make sure to be cognizant of that as I was giving him advice. Hey. Yes, at one time I was actually the president of Toastmasters, my chapter, which was crazy. But so we're meeting and we're talking, and basically I want to share the meat of what our conversation was, which was I gave him a basic marketing strategy for himself because he wants to target a certain demographic. He's found that he works really well with the elderly, people between a certain age, I believe he said 55 and above. They're more anxious and ready. They're more anxious and ready to make a decision on what to do with their money because they're further along in their lives and they're tired of waiting. They know that they should have done something sooner. So the advice that I gave him is that Facebook specifically would be the best place to do that. It is usually, almost always, the first strategy, the first platform I recommend for a lot of businesses. The reason for that, and for those of you that don't know, is because they give you the targeting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you saw I recently upgraded to my Canon, to streaming from my Canon EOS 5D. Appreciate that. But where was I going with that? Oh, so he wants to be that. He wants to help them through this time. And he can do that through his content and through advertising, making sure he's marketing his business and targeting those individuals. And if he does it long enough over a course of time, he can basically blanket the entire city and advertise and promote his content to those individuals. Now, he's limited. Anything he writes has to pass compliance. For some other businesses, that's not the case. That's not something you need to worry about. But for him, it is. But I did tell him that if there's stuff that maybe the company has already approved and put out, maybe he just grabs that content and he records himself giving that advice that's already been approved, right? And maybe he runs the script and he does the same thing to make sure he's compliant. But he just stays on the same material to ensure that he's not going off course. But he does this so that way he can create this content and he pushes it out. He blankets the market, and he does it again next week, and he does it again the following week. He did ask how much content should he be producing, and I would say at least once a week. And here's the strategy: at least once a week, create a unique piece of content that is yours, that you own, that you created. Preferably video, maybe written if you're better in the written format. That's still viable. But if possible, absolutely do video. And the reason I told him is because your face is the brand. You are the brand. You are your own brand. And the quicker you can get on camera and start introducing yourself, sharing your advice, educating your market, the more confident and trustful people will be of you. By the time they call him, they will have already virtually met him a handful of times. But create one unique piece of content that you own, you create, you shoot yourself. It can be high dollar production, it can be a low dollar production. I had a friend of mine who commented yesterday that he agreed with most of the advice that I gave yesterday about shooting your video with your iPhone, with phone. But he recommended, he comes from a background of journalism, he heavily recommends at least getting a gimbal or something to stabilize the video. I agree with that. But if you don't have a choice and you're just trying to get on camera, just do what you can. Get a tripod, hold it up, put it on a table, and go to town. All right. Shoot one unique piece of content. What did I put? One unique piece of content. Share somebody else's content, maybe like for him, Fortune magazine or somebody, maybe his own company's content. Push that out. Add your 2 cents to it. Find a voice. Make sure that you're speaking in your voice and your charismatic with your charismatic personality. You want to make sure that you're speaking with your voice. Adding your 2 cents, maybe diluting the content that you're sharing into into a format that's easier to consume. Kind of explain what they're about to read. Okay, so that's 2 pieces of content. Maybe a graphic quote. Write a quote up, a quotation, right? That relates to your industry. Maybe a statistic, and I can't say that today. A statistic that is viable, is important in your industry that maybe somebody else said, or maybe it's something that you believe. Put together a quote. That's 3 pieces of content. 4, a meme. Every industry, whether it's parenting, dance, finance, you name it, there's meme accounts. There's people that specialize for some reason. There's people that's all they do. So create a meme. Maybe grab somebody else's and post it with your spin to it. Maybe grab one of the memes that are trending. Like recently we had that woman that's screaming and the cat. Use that. How can you use that meme? Because now it's high attention. Everyone's highly in tune for that coming through, so they're going to read it. And make sure that it's in line with your market, finance. Some unique, clever way of putting a piece of information out. And especially in finance and legal, it's a great way also to break some of the tension and some of you're always serious, right? So it gives you a way to say something humorous and keep people engaged, because you don't always want to hit them off with heavy, serious material. Sometimes you just want to lighten the load. What else? That's 4. 1 or 2 pieces of content, one or 2 quotes a week, 1 or 2 shares, maybe 3 shares of other people's content. And now you have almost a full week, 6 or 7 pieces of content that you've shared. All right. You need to be posting content, right? It's just a fact. People need to know that you're in business, that you have something to say. Now, here's the kicker, and here's the thing that you need to consider is, as you're putting that content out, if you don't have nobody following you, then it's going to be, you're sharing that content and basically talking to an empty room. I've said that before. So you need to advertise. And with him, I said, even if you just put $1 behind it per day and just share it to your market, Facebook allows you, go YouTube it, and which leads me to my next point. Hold on for that. I'm going to share something real quick in a minute. Go YouTube how to create a Facebook ad, a simple ad. Just target Dallas, men and women between the ages of 55 to 70, and just blanket the market. So imagine just hitting those individuals with this piece of content. Over the course of time, even if you spend $1 a day, $5 a day, whatever you can afford to start getting your message out, this is incredibly powerful. You could easily get in front of 1,000 or 2,000 people a week. 2,000 people, imagine that would have never heard of you, or that it would have been impossible for you to introduce yourself to. You can do that through Facebook advertising. It is so simple, it's so affordable, it's ridiculous. It should almost be illegal. Like, it's affordable. Put that message out. Now, will he necessarily get a client from that? Probably not right away. I'm sure there's some people that he will be able to touch with that first piece of information that may be at the bottom of the funnel, that they know they need to do it. They've been thinking about it. It's been on their to-do list, and they're at the bottom of the funnel. They're highly aware and highly aware that they have a problem, and highly aware that they need to take care of it quickly, right? So he may pick up a client. However, chances are they're not. Why? The more personal information you have to get from your target market. So say, like buying a home, selling a home, finance, you're going to be their financial advisor. It takes a lot of time to build that trust, because you're going to get up in their business, right? You're going to know all their financials. You're going to know their dirty stuff. You may even get to know them better than their spouse. So it takes a long time to build trust. So start today, right? Start putting out that content. But if you start today and you start building that trust and sharing that content consistently, perpetually, over and over again, You start building that audience of individuals that start trusting your content and will share it. Imagine, young people have young friends, right? Old people have old friends. I'm making some big assumptions. Don't strangle me for it. But we're gonna hang out with people that look like us and think like us. All right, and in the same similar demographic. So if you share a great piece of content, you're making them feel smarter, more educated. They're probably gonna share it with their peers, with their groups, with their network. That's what you want to do. Now, so you advertise. You have to advertise. Which brings me to my next big point. Uh, I can't help him because I cost too much. I charge upwards of 3 to 5 thousand on average per client to work with them. Hold their hand, work on marketing, working on the strategy, working on everything, right? However, I recognize that there's a huge need of a huge group of people that still need help and can and are willing to put the work in themselves. So what I decided to try to do, and I will do in the next month or two, is put together a training course on how to do Facebook advertising, like a simplified, straight to the point kind of thing on how to get into the ad manager, how to create audiences, how to target individuals, and how to basically put your message out in front of people at an affordable rate that will produce results, right? So be on the lookout for that. Let's see what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, that's it. So you have the ability to create content. It obviously takes time. Yes. It obviously takes some time. Thank you, Tenacious. It's going to take some time to create content, but Facebook also allows you to schedule material. So sit down one day and just schedule it all out, right? You can create your unique piece of content, or you do it live. Lives are the easiest way. Here I am creating this live, and this is a piece of content that I can then push out. Always remember that. However, maybe this is not for you, so I'm not going to shove you into doing this. Maybe you're better with the written word. Do that. Maybe you can get a good picture. Do that. Point is, get that information out. The content allows you to flex your expertise, right? Your expertise muscles, and then use the advertising to push out to your market. Okay, that's it for today. I do want to share another story that kind of between this conversation and this moment. You ever go to your car and there's these things on the windshield and these postcards, right? This isn't a postcard. Let's just imagine it's a postcard. There was a postcard, a flyer for a spa locally. And it was actually really well printed and everything. And I couldn't help but feel a little sad because they cost a lot of money, right? These flyers that people put on people's cars, I find that they're a waste. They cost a lot of money. They end up on the floor, on the trash. They didn't just get them thrown away, right? They're not effective marketing pieces. I don't think they ever were, but they were better than nothing back in the day. Spending that same money on advertising on Facebook, specifically Instagram as well, for some markets like for a spa, Instagram would be an incredible platform to advertise on. It would be a much better use of their money, their time to actually advertise there. They can get so much more exposure, reach so many more people than having someone print and then having someone else, maybe themselves, I don't know, put these on people's cars and then irritate people and then just end up on the floor as a litter. We got a better way. There's better ways to do things. So be on the lookout for that. If you are interested in actually, I'll probably put out some type of beta package for people that want to, that at an affordable rate so they can jump on in, help me test it out, put it out at a cheaper rate here in the next month or so. And as it helps me refine the program. So if you're interested in that, send me a message. But that's your basic marketing strategy, guys. Just put content out. Make sure you put your spin on it, put your voice into it, and then promote it. There's really no excuse. This type of, like in the old days, you'd have to advertise in the yellow pages. No kidding. It really, yes, you got that? Memes work. But it's just a waste. Where are they going at? Thanks, BJ. There's just better ways to go about it. Yeah, in the old days, you'd have to be in the yellow pages. You'd have to be on radio, TV, billboard. If you wanted to go into business before, it was almost impossible to crack the industry unless, like, really break through unless you had a huge marketing budget. Now you can open up shop just on a whim, but you still have to invest some money, guys. Like, don't put that aside. Don't assume that you can just you just open up shop and people are going to magically show up. Nobody's going to do that. You still have to put the word out, but you have the channels. It's an even playing field. And if you have personality and charm and a great product and service, it's really very doable. So with that, I appreciate you. Have a great day and take care. See you later, BJ. See you later, Tenacious. Ciao.